Hey, I'm Morgan and welcome to Craft and Code. So picture this. You've got this killer idea for an article, right? Or maybe a newsletter, or even a whole media brand. You're fired up, you're ready to go, and then, bam, reality check. Suddenly you're fighting with a dozen plugins, you're copy-pasting your work into a totally separate email service, and then you're trying to glue it all together with some third-party subscription tool.
It's a feeling we all know, right? Your creativity just gets buried under this mountain of technical debt. It's so frustrating. Your great idea gets stuck in the mud before you even get a chance to hit publish. Well, that exact problem is what we're talking about today, and we're going to look at a platform designed from the ground up to solve it. Ghost.
See, that messy, stitched-together toolkit, that's the core issue for anyone trying to publish online today. You end up being a systems integrator when all you really want to be is a creator. So what if there was a better way? What if a platform was built on a completely different philosophy?
And that brings us to the Ghost philosophy. Ghost was literally created as a response to this chaos. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, it was built with one single powerful idea in mind: focus over features.
Okay, the best way to think about it is this. You know WordPress? It's like the ultimate Swiss Army knife. It's got a corkscrew, a nail file, a tiny pair of scissors, a bunch of tools you might never ever use. Ghost, on the other hand, is like a perfectly balanced, razor-sharp chef's knife. It's built to do one thing exceptionally well, and that one thing is publishing. And look, that's not a limitation. It's a deliberate choice. It's about cutting away all the bloat to focus on what actually matters for creators.
And this philosophy goes all the way down to the code itself. Ghost is built on a modern Node.js stack. Now, if you're not a developer, don't worry about the jargon. All you need to know is one word: speed. This modern architecture makes things incredibly fast, not just for you when you're writing in the editor, but more importantly for your audience when they're visiting your site.
So what does this focus philosophy actually look like in terms of features? Well, Ghost's real power comes from what I call the integrated power trio. 3 core pieces that are built to work together from the very beginning. And that word, integrated, is everything. These aren't clunky, third-party plugins that you have to bolt on, constantly update, and just pray they don't break each other.
Because they're integrated, you get this incredibly seamless workflow. Step 1, you write. The editor is clean, it's professional, it just gets out of your way. Step 2, you send. When you're done, you can publish it to your website and, get this, with just one more click, send it out as a beautiful email newsletter to your subscribers. And finally, step 3, you monetize. You can turn that audience into a business with subscription tools that are baked right in.
And this is a really crucial point. Ghost isn't just a blogging platform. It's a business engine. All the tools you'd normally have to find elsewhere are built in. We're talking native sign-up forms, paid monthly and yearly tiers, detailed analytics on who's opening what, the whole shebang. And because it connects directly with Stripe, Ghost takes a 0% cut of your payment fees. That means you keep more of your hard-earned money. That's huge.
Okay, this brings us to what I think is the strategic heart of this entire explainer. You get what Ghost is now, but how you actually use it, well, that comes down to a really critical choice. A choice that depends completely on your goals, your budget, and frankly, how comfortable you are with getting your hands dirty with tech.
So here's the question you have to ask yourself. Which path is right for you? Is it the path of convenience or the path of control? Do you want a fully managed service that just works, or do you want to roll up your sleeves and have total command? Let's break down what each path really means.
All right, let's lay it all out. On one side, you've got Ghost Pro. This is the path of convenience. It's perfect for creators who just want to create. Setup is instant. All the maintenance, the security updates, the backups, it's all handled for you. On the other side, you have the path of control, self-hosting. This is for developers, the tinkerers, or maybe you're just on a really tight budget. Your server costs can be super low, but, and this is a big but, you are now responsible for everything.
So if you choose this path of control, you're going to get very familiar with the command line. A simple command can get a test site running locally in like a minute. It feels easy, but taking that to a live production website, whoa, okay, you've just put on a DevOps hat. Now you're in charge of server management, all the updates, security patches, and this is the one that gets a lot of people. You have to configure your own separate service just to make sure your emails actually get delivered. It's not a simple task. So yeah, you get total control, but it definitely comes with that operational burden.
But here's the thing. Whichever path people choose, the results can be absolutely staggering. Right now, publications running on Ghost are earning over $100 million in revenue every single year. This isn't a toy. It's a platform built for serious, independent publishers who are building real businesses,
And a lot of them do that by leveraging the streamlined convenience of the Pro service we just talked about. Okay, so we've established that Ghost is a seriously powerful option, but is it the right option for you? To figure that out, we need some context. Let's put Ghost in the ring and see how it stacks up against some of the other heavyweights out there.
The classic matchup, of course, is Ghost versus WordPress, and this really comes down to a battle of philosophies. With WordPress, you get almost infinite flexibility through its massive plugin ecosystem, but that often comes at a cost: slower performance and a ton of maintenance. Ghost basically says, I'll trade some of that endless flexibility for a laser-focused, super fast, and tightly integrated experience.
All right, what about Substack? This is a really important distinction to make. Substack is a fantastic newsletter platform, but Ghost is a full publication hub. That's the difference. With Ghost, you don't just get a newsletter tool, you get a newsletter tool plus a complete, fully customizable website that you own and control. It lets you build a much bigger brand, a real home on the web.
And that whole idea of ownership is probably clearest when you compare Ghost to something like Medium. The analogy I always use is this. Medium is like renting a really stylish furnished apartment. It's easy to move in, it looks great, but you can't paint the walls, and you don't own the property. Ghost is like owning your own home. You have complete control, you're building equity in your brand, and you own the most important asset of all, your audience.
All right, we've gone through the philosophy, the features, the competition. So how do you actually know if Ghost is the right path forward for you? Let's try and sketch out who the ideal Ghost user really is.
So, the ideal Ghost user, they're someone who values speed and a clean workflow more than anything. They're a serious, independent publisher. They want to own their brand, their content, and their audience. And they need those powerful, built-in tools for monetization without getting bogged down in plugin maintenance and technical headaches. And that brings us right back to the question we started with. Now that you've seen the trade-offs, which path would you choose? Would you go for the peace of mind of Ghost Pro, where you can just focus on creating? Or would you opt for the absolute control of self-hosting? The right answer, of course, is going to depend entirely on you and your project. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.